Hey, oh, Don Schmidt, the Book Kahuna, coming at you with today's publishing tip of the day. Today's publishing tip, I had to give my latest speech at Toastmasters tonight. It was in the Competent Communicator Manual, and it was speech number 8. And it's all about using visual aids to enhance the presentation for your audience. The title of my speech was A Friend Indeed, Walking Through Life with Your Best Friend. Now, I thought about this speech and how I would put it together because of the loss that I've been feeling lately since Susan's death, and where I wanted to go with looking at all of the positives in my life that are going to help me carry on from this point forward. And although Susan was the one I wanted to be my life partner and my wife, now that she's gone, I have to focus on everything else that is good in my life. And that entails looking at your friends, looking at your best friend, and to do that, you have to basically come to grips with what makes a great friend. You want your friend to be honest. You want your friend to be loyal. You want your friend to be affectionate. You want your friend to be playful. You want your friend to be obedient. Now, obedient, how do you mean obedient? I mean, if you're talking about your life mate, how can you mean you want your friend to be obedient? Well, in this particular case, I was talking about Derek. Now, Derek is my Pembroke Welsh Corgi. Derek is 3 years old. And Derek is the sweetest creature I've ever encountered in my life. Derek is friendly. He has a spirit that he just radiates friendliness and goodness. He just loves everyone. If people walk down the street, on the other side of the street, he wants them to just come up to him and pet him. And he gets upset when people just go on by, walk on by. It's a very interesting dynamic going on with Derek. Also, he loves other dogs. Whenever he sees another dog, he always wants to play. He wants to go and meet that other dog and get to know that other dog. He's just a good spirit. And he makes me laugh. He's just a wonderful little friend to have around. And so at this point, it would be remiss if I didn't say, what the beginnings were. And this is our family, myself, Susan, and Derek. This is how we started out. This was January 16th, 2011. And Puppy Derek, we adopted Puppy Derek from a breeder in Deer Trail. And I know how people are not really into the whole breeder thing, but these people are very good with their dogs, and we had checked them out. And the reason why we decided to get a Corgi, Sue's brother Ken and his family had a family dinner one time, and as we drove up and got into the driveway, all of a sudden the door opened up and this little dog darted out of the house to meet us. And I said, "Oh, wow, look, it's a Corgi." And Sue and I were like, "Oh, wow." And they had just gotten their Corgi that was Porky the Corgi. And it was Sue's nephew, Rhett. It was his dog. And we asked them about, the people they got the dog from, and got into the whole story of who the breeder was and everything, and they decided, Ken and Jen decided to let us know the next time that this particular family had another litter. And a couple years later, they had another litter, and Susan and I had decided, yes, it was time for us to expand our family. And that's how we ended up with our little buddy, Derek. Now, how did we end up with the name Derek? Interesting you should ask that. I have two cats, two Manx cats that I got from Max Fund, and they are both named for Yankee captains. One is Munson, and the other one is Mattingly. And so, in that tradition, of course, this one had to be Derek. And it fits him, too, because Derek is a very UK-type name. So, and I couldn't think of, he could be called anything else but Derek. Even now, it's like he's Derek. So this is our family. Also, you'll notice that there is a very good, striking family resemblance. Although Derek has much more hair than I do. I just wanted to call that out so you will notice the similarities in the looks. Now, got Derek home, and of course, as a puppy, you've got to teach him that, there are certain things you can do, certain things you can't do. And of course, I wanted to make sure that he was safe, so I blocked off my kitchen with these gates just to make sure that he would stay in the kitchen when I wasn't home and, wouldn't rip anything up or get hurt or get into anything. And I saw him, doing this one time, and he always seemed to do this where he would just put his head on the bar and just rest it. And it looks like he's in jail. And it's the cutest picture, because the other thing is, you'll notice that the cardboard on the side has all been chewed up. I had to put the cardboard over the slats because when he was really little, he could squeeze himself through the slats. But as he got bigger, everything was fine. But he did actually chew up the vinyl in my kitchen. And eventually, once, Empower takes off, I'm going to get some new vinyl in my kitchen and redo the floor. So, that was Derek, puppy Derek, in jail. This is our family as a Christmas card that we did 3 years ago. The black lab was Avalon, beautiful dog, really friendly, lovely personality, just like Derek, really just a nice soul, really good dog. And, of course, Susan, myself, Derek, this was us. This was our family. You just look, there's a lot of love coming out of this picture. So, yeah. Anyway, moving right along to the next picture. Baby Derek, puppy Derek. And now, one thing about Corgis, they're very smart. They're actually number 10 on the dog depth chart in terms of how smart they are. And he has a stubborn streak. When he doesn't want to do something, he will just sit down and not do it. If there is another dog coming and he wants to meet that dog, he will just sit. And he will not get up. I can see in this picture that I probably wanted him to do something, and he decided to just look at me and sit there. But you look at that little face and those eyes, and your heart just melts, because he's just the cutest. I mean, he really is. I'm jaded because he's my dog, but he is a very cute dog. Now, Corgis. The most famous Corgis are, of course, those Corgis that are owned by Queen Elizabeth II. At one point, she had 19 Corgis. Can you believe that? 19 Corgis. And she had so many Corgis that they were starting to become a pack. And she actually had to have a dog whisperer that she has on staff go in and talk to them and, chill them out, because you don't want the queen to go in and see her pets and they're a pack. I believe now she's got 9. It's down to 9. But she's the most famous corgi owner in the world. It's actually moving up the charts in the United States as one of the most popular breeds of dogs for people to have as a pet. There's one thing about it, though, like they're very good with adults and older, teenagers. I'm always worried about Derek when a little person, a 3-year-old, 2-year-old, they really love him, but when he sees like somebody that size coming towards him, I can always sense that he gets a little nervous, and I always hold him back because number one, I don't want him to knock the person over, the little boy, little girl, because I don't want them to have a bad experience with a dog, as a kid, because then they'll think, oh, dogs are bad, like, be afraid of them. I don't want my dog to, make someone afraid of dogs. And the other thing is, I don't, he has never nipped he's never nipped me. I've never even heard of the dog growl. But I don't want to tempt fate with my dog. And I will always, like, hold him if a little kid wants to pet him or something, just to make sure, that he knows that I'm there and, it's okay. So, anyway, what corgis were used for herding in the UK, especially in Wales, and I believe also in Ireland. They're very good at herding sheep and cattle. And the reason why they're good at that is because they're so low to the ground, they're stealthy, they don't get kicked. They don't get kicked by the cattle, and also their modus for how they actually herd, they come in from the front and nip at the sheep or the cattle's snout and force them to turn around. So that's how the corgis are very adept at herding, sheep and cattle. Like they nip at the front and turn them in the direction that they want them to go. They're actually like some of the top herding dogs in the UK, which, for their size and everything, they are the smallest herding dog, but they, you wouldn't think they would be a herding dog at all for their size, but they are. I took this picture in April. We had a freak snowstorm, and I went outside, and Derek loves the snow. He just loves to be in the snow. Even if the snow is so high that his tummy has to, rubs on it. And I took this picture, and it's an amazing picture because I just used like a crappy, digital 3.2 pixel digital camera. But it captures him because it's just the essence of him. He doesn't mind the snow all over his head. He's loving it. He's just, hey, I'm just me. I'm cool. But the best part about this picture is you can pick up the snowfall around him because of the reflection of the flakes. And I always thought this picture was so cool just because of that. It shows Derek in his like pure essence of who he is, and it's got almost this angelic sparkling of snow around his head from the reflections that are coming through off the flakes. It's just a beautiful depiction of my dog, and I really just love this picture so much. So he's great in the snow, loves it. He loved his mom, she loved him. We're gonna miss her. She picked him out. She went for the runt of the litter and thought he was the cutest one. He had the little Batman mask. You can kind of see it. He's got like a little strip of dark that goes from the corner of his eyes on both sides back to his ear. It's almost like a little Batman mask that he's got. And he loved Sue a lot, and she loved him so much. She was so good to him. So we're going to do a lot of things in Susan's honor. A lot of donations to Max Fund and Cat Care, and just do some different things. You know, the donor dash, and just remember her. Just do things to remember her. So he loves his dad too. You know, his dad likes to take him to the dog park, do some chuck it. We have fun. And we sit, we watch some TV, he watches the ball game with me, watches the Yankee games. He's my buddy. He really is. He's just the most amazing friend I could wish for. And he's also my little guardian angel. He's working with me to make sure that my head stays in the right place, and I couldn't ask God for a better angel to watch over me than this little creature. He's just a joy, and I hope everyone out there has a Derek in their life, because it'll make life that much more pleasurable if you do. So, wishing you all your own Derek. This is Don Schmidt, the Book Kahuna, going through my speech for tonight, trying to move from grief into thankfulness, and working with my little guardian angel to make sure that we're fine going forward. Till the next time, Don Schmidt, the Book Kahuna. Bye-bye.